Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. We want to thank you and welcome you here today for our Neighborhood Watch program. We are going to be discussing two items, and that is Neighborhood Watch program and the sign-up sheet. Now, Ken Penegrill is the one that is running this. He is not here for 2 months. They're gone. So Hilton and I will be conducting this meeting today, and then the next couple of months will be Karen and I will be conducting. We like to have a meeting once a month just to get together with everybody if there's any issues or anything that we can make better. So those are the only two items that we're going to be discussing, and then we have a wonderful special guest today, Officer Lynn Salazar. She is going to be talking to all of us about the Neighborhood Watch program. So welcome.
Is it my turn? Okay. Well, thank you guys for having me here. I'm here today to talk about Neighborhood Watch, but first and foremost, our last meeting, I know there were a lot of people, and I did hear someone say, she's wearing City of Temecula patches. So I thought in this meeting I would address it. I'm wearing them again, just a different uniform. Riverside County Sheriff's Department, City of Temecula, if you're not aware, contracts with Riverside County Sheriff's Department. So technically when you see all of our deputies, I do have a sheriff's unit outside because we are in the county. we wear two hats. So I was assigned to the city for many, many, many years, so that's why I have a lot of city uniforms. Now I've just been recently assigned to the county, which is our main station, the Southwest Station, although I still do stuff in the city because they just won't let me go. But now I'm in the county, so next time I come, I'll have some Velcro patches that say Riverside County Sheriffs. So just in case you guys are thinking, well, why is she wearing City of Temecula patches and she's out here? That's the reason, so I just wanted to clarify that. The main reason why we're out here, and unfortunately people are going to be straggling in here, and that's totally fine. We're here for the Neighborhood Watch. Those of you who were here at the very first meeting, I know that my boss, my lieutenant, our captain, they were very pleased with the turnout. We know that this is, your property, this is your home. The reason why we're here, I just got some feedback early before the meeting that now, people are being more vigilant, looking around. Not to say that you weren't doing it before, now it's just a little more prevalent. So, Milton gave me a map of your area, and as I drove in, your area is huge. I think I upset 2 vehicles behind me as I was driving in because I actually slowed down on the road because I can do that in a black and white. But I started to look at the fence line, and as I'm coming through, I'm just like, wow, that's a lot. So as he gave me this map, and we were discussing how it would be broken up, and I know that you guys they will have some takers at the end for the Neighborhood Watch. But basically, this program is, we are here kind of to oversee you guys, but the program is yours. So, you guys will, if you guys go out at night, I noticed there's going to be some kind of sign-up sheet for like every 2 hours. With that being said, before I go on, when you go out at night, regardless of male or female, you should always be in a buddy system. Always. For the simple reason that if something does occur, and God forbid, something happened to one, the other one can go get help. So always with a buddy system, or at least that's what we recommend. Sometimes it's not feasible, and we understand, but the majority of the time, always a buddy system. And it kind of seems like everybody knows everybody, so that's probably a plus. We were discussing having a block captain, and then maybe having 2 coordinators under that block captain for, did we just say 50 people or 50 homes?
No,
or lot?
Just per row.
Per row, okay. So basically Neighborhood Watch in a residential community, we're trying to tweak it for you guys because you guys, it's a little different here. So per row, it would be basically 3 people. Have like a phone tree, who lives here, 24/7. Maybe having some kind of color-coded, with who's here 24/7, and then who's not here all the time. And this way, having names, numbers, if something were to occur, how you're able to contact them. For us, if a deputy comes out, they're going to want to know, okay, that's wonderful, you're the neighbor, and you know that they're not here, but we can't do a whole lot because it's not your property. But it's different if a neighbor comes and says, hey, you know what, I have, John and Lisa on the phone, and this is their property. Then at least the deputy can get on the phone and say, hey, if you can kind of tell us what you have, then that would be great. Another thing Neighborhood Watch is good for, I did it in my neighborhood, my older neighborhood. We had elderly people that were on oxygen, and so we knew who needed to get out of the house if there was a fire, if there was some type of emergency. We knew who had what. We were pretty much I would say probably the youngest in probably a huge area. They would, you know, be golfing in the morning and stuff like that, and so we kind of, a lot of retirees, and so we kind of knew who had what, which is wonderful, because, you know, something does happen, then you're able to at least tell fire or police, hey, this is what, you know, he or she have, or, you know, stuff like that. Are there any questions so far with this neighborhood watch? I was informed that there were signs ordered.
Yes, there's,
Oh.
there's 5 neighborhood watch signs. They will go on, one will go on the shack.
One will go on the guard shack, and then the others will go on all the opening gates, the emergency gate, the one in the 500s, and the storage, and then one by 224, that open area where it goes up to the well.
Okay. Anything and everything that you guys do for your property, what do you guys call your, I call them like little casitas, what do you guys, is that what you guys call it?
Build out.
Built out. Whatever you guys do, I know they're not enclosed, like locked up and stuff like that, but whatever you have in there, I saw, I'm gonna throw it out there because I don't know whose it is, but I saw an engraver on the table. I know we had an engraver at City Hall in our storefront. Residents would come in, sign the form, and take it, and then bring it back to us, and they would engrave their, you know, TVs, their, you know, bicycle, whatever property they had, they would engrave it. You know, sometimes with driver's license numbers, whatever numbers, or, you know, something that's, you know, distinct to you and your family, that you would know, hey, if it was stolen and we recovered the property and you come into property and evidence and we contacted you, you can automatically say, hey, that's mine, because on the, you know, left, right side, it says, you know, XYZ, 1, 2, 3, whatever the case may be. And then we can say, you know, it goes back to you. So the engraver is a great thing, but like I said, anything that you guys do to your property, you know, to make it a deterrent. The plus that you guys have here, and you don't see it in a whole lot of residents, because what do people usually do when they get off of work or when they come home? They're in their car, and what do? Press the button, the garage opens, the car goes in, they press the button, the garage goes down, and that's it, right? And then you don't see them. You might see them because they pull out the trash and then they go back inside. This is nice. And I say this, I like this. I just moved into a new neighborhood. I live in a cul-de-sac. There's only 6 homes. And I was like, I wasn't even quite ready yet. We were just moving in, and all the neighbors came on the door, ringing the doorbell, and I'm like, who's bothering us? We just moved in. But it was wonderful because it was all the neighbors. And they're like, hi. And my husband says, oh gosh, the third neighbor, his wife is named Lynn. And I'm like, oh, I got 2 Lynns now. My husband's like, oh, great. But it was really nice to have that because, like I said, you go into neighborhoods, I do neighborhood watches, and, you know, you're sitting here and a neighbor will be like, I know nobody. And you're like, wow, how long have you been there? Oh, 25 years. Yeah. So here, seeing you guys come in and everyone talking and you know, you guys have a good rapport with each other, that's key, because communication, that's the first. So when you do this neighborhood watch, you know, hopefully what we see as the police department or sheriff's department is something occurs, so everybody's hiding. So everybody wants, where's everybody at? Where's the police? Where's neighborhood watch? And then all of a sudden, slowly, because people are being vigilant, people are watching, hey, you know, this is my home, I'm watching now my neighbors. Criminals don't like that. They just want to go in, steal, and be gone. They don't want people to go, hi, good morning. They just, you know, they don't want to be seen. And hopefully, you know, they try to be not heard. And then all of a sudden, the neighborhood watch just goes down. Because now everybody became what? Complacent. Now we're, oh, it's okay because we're good now. They did what we were supposed to do, and that's it. So when I say this, neighborhood watch, as long as you have property, You have good people, you have bad people. You just have to be vigilant and you have to keep it going. Sometimes people get a little, tired, help out, say, hey, you know what, you've been doing it for a while, I'll take over. And just kind of work with each other. You guys have anything else? Any questions or things that you would like discussed?
Just a reminder for those of you who sign up today or who have been patrolling, make sure you have a very good flashlight. Make sure you have something that will make a lot of noise, like one of those great game horns. They're wonderful to have because at least you can signal many people that you're in trouble before the bad guys can get to you. Never patrol as an individual. I know there's a few of you out there that are capable of taking care of just themselves and will go out on their own. That's fine. I prefer then that they wait till the end, those individuals wait toward the end to sign up. We're trying to get other people in pairs to do this for us today. Make sure you know where all those neighborhood watch signs are. It's a good thing just to be able to point them out for people. And then in general, during the day, as the officer said, what really helps is just kind of being nosy. Who's that guy over there? Why is he standing there? I don't know him. Is he their friend, their neighbor, a visitor? How come this person doesn't have a patch on their car and they're driving down the street? Is that someone from up on the hill, or do they live here? Don't be afraid to ask. This is your property. I don't mean perform a citizen's arrest. Let's not run out there with sticks, and drag them to the sidewalk. But it's important that we be vigilant and not let that slow down, because that's when we're going to get hit.
And we're not, I know I'm not here and they're not here. We're not here to scare you or say, oh, this is what you got to do. But it's a little work. But it will pay off in the end because I've seen it. I've seen neighborhoods where I walk in, I'm like, oh, my word. I would drive around 3 o'clock in the morning and they'd be like, Officer Salazar, why are you doing that? Garage doors up. I'm like, oh. So I did it. I'm guilty of it. My partner's like, you're going to do what? I'm all, shh. We're going to have a neighborhood watch meeting in an hour. I went in a garage and I took 2 things from their garage. I took a weed whacker because I wanted something at least, substantial, big. And then they had a scooter. And I'm all, pop open that trunk. And we popped it in the trunk and we left. Do you know that they were at the meeting and they still didn't know that I had their weed whacker and their scooter? And I said, and you know what? You had a TV, and the husband's like, I was going to mount it to the wall. I said, I was so tempted on taking it, but I thought, well, if I broke it, I own it. And the car was like, I always say I'm healthy, not skinny, so I was kind of like that. So I'm like, forget it, the scooter's on the other side. But you know what? Makes people think. I said, and I was doing that at 3 o'clock in the morning. So if I'm doing that, what do you think the knuckleheads are doing? Maybe 2 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock. So they were actually, husband came and he says, I said, and I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I said, but they were embarrassed. And I said, and granted, it's your home. Someone should come into your home or go into your car because it was left unlocked. But it happens. We're busy because we're doing the right thing and we're going on our day, and we forget about these things. I know it happens all the time. You go to Costco, you come home with all this stuff, and then what do? When you come here with a big old box? It's a television because you're going to put the television in your little casita, and someone's like, oh, that's a 65-inch box outside, and they know exactly the make, the model, because where did you put that box? Usually people don't break down the box. They just put it on the curb. So the trash man's like, oh, okay, thank you. And then the criminals are like, thank you. So stuff like that is, you gotta be vigilant, kind of think of those things. But like I said, I'm not here to scare you, just to be, a watchful eye. I can't say this enough. We said it at the meeting. We know it's far. We know we're the county. It's not like the cities where you call and you have your deputies respond. You're a ways out. That's why it's great to have the neighborhood watch. But by all means, it might take some time, but continue to call when things do occur. Because if you don't, then we think that everything is hunky-dory here, that nothing happens here. So just because one calls, a neighbor calls, and maybe another neighbor, saw it too, have the other neighbor call as well. Or don't be like, oh, I saw him, so you know what, I know he's gonna call, so I won't call. Well, if you can read minds, I want you to tell me the lotto numbers. But don't do it. Don't depend on anyone. If he calls, wonderful. Then I call, it's even better, because now dispatch will know, hey, there's 2 calls for service. Do we know if it's the same thing? And obviously our dispatch are smart enough to know, okay, same address, maybe different lots, or maybe the same lot number. They'll put it in as one call, but at least they know, hey, someone called here, someone called here, someone called here, and they'll roll all those calls into one call, so that deputy comes out, and he or she is gonna take that one report, but knowing that we had multiple calls for service for that, incident. So, I know there were, there you go, back there.
This is considered a rural area, correct?
Yes.
Open area.
I think that they discussed that at the last meeting about open carry.
It wasn't clear.
It wasn't clear when they discussed it. When you say that, tell me that you mean you have a CCW?
No, but it's a rural area, you own the property. Now, somebody's stealing a propane tank, okay? Somebody's stealing a propane tank, turns around with a hatchet.
Okay. We have, it's, you're in fear for your life. You always have to remember with that, carrying a concealed weapon, there's always going to be that repercussion that, and I don't like to say this, and I know a lot of us in law enforcement, we don't like to say this, but sometimes, say for instance, something did occur, and that individual was not killed, but injured. Now you have that lawsuit for them to come back and say, hey, well, this is what was happening. Even though in our mind we're thinking, hey, first of all, you don't live here, you were stealing, so you were not doing anything that was lawful, but now we have, a different decision.
I understand the accountability of what we're dealing with, more than likely. And
Yes.
3 or 4 of those clowns against 2 of us with flashlights, get over it quick.
But I think,
True.
I think what we're trying to do is just let them know that we're watching. We're not here to confront them. It's just to deter them.
Yes.
Exactly. I don't think they want a confrontation either.
No, they
just want
don't.
their stuff and they want to go.
They basically want your stuff, and yes, they want to go. But there are those moments where you come out, and lo and behold, one might be there, and then you're kind of tasked with, okay, what do I do? But you're right.
Airborne.
It's, we're not trying to go out there saying, hey, when I'm out there, I'm going to be waiting for anybody. It's just to be the eyes and ears. And yes, it is a rural area, like I said. Waiting for us to come out, is going to take some time. But the best thing that you can do is be that best witness to get that description of that individual, especially if you're out, and you have your cell phone, because everyone has cell phones. Take a picture, and then get that description. And you can go from top to bottom, from bottom to top, with, what he or she's wearing. If it's dark, the best that you can do. If, they jumped the wall, if they didn't jump the wall, they took off, did they get in a vehicle, the phone tree. When you have your block captain for your row, Hopefully they do a phone tree with everyone's number, because if something were to occur, then you can go ahead and get online and say, hey, you know what, they're going down your way. You know, someone might be out looking out the window or outside, and okay, we got a better description.
Yes, first off, thank you for being here today. It's very important for us.
You're welcome.
Also on Friday, June 30th, we had the sheriffs and the ATF, I believe, that raided the compound up there, up on the hill when you come in.
Yes.
And I was curious as to what the outcome was of that. And then also on Monday, which was July 3rd, we had a helicopter circling up there with 2 patrol cars that went in there and searched several people. And I'm wondering also what the outcome was that.
Okay. I can't tell you what the outcome was until I get back to the station and I research it, because I wasn't out on those days. And then I can kind of let you know more of what took place. I know at the other meeting, code enforcement was stating that they already had cases on them for what they had on their property. And then I think another call out had come, and maybe that's why it was on the 3rd, in reference to them, I think with a tractor or some moving material. And I don't know what kind of material, but I did hear that at our station.
Also, I met with Officer Gimby on Wednesday, and he's from the Temecula Sheriff's Department. And there's another growing area out here in the back by our maintenance department, that there's now 3 RVs out there, and it's all illegal. And I brought him out there, and he searched the area with binoculars, but he didn't want to go in because he had no backup. And he took the physical address of the area, and I'm curious as to what happened with that.
Okay, so with that being said, anytime you call a deputy out, you make sure you get their name. Him or her, when they come out, you let them know, or you're telling dispatch, because you're actually calling dispatch, you're not calling the deputy direct. Let dispatch know, you know, first of all, what the call type is, why, you know, you need them to come out.
That was on behalf of Lieutenant Smith that sent him out.
Okay.
Because I spoke to him that day, we had the meeting in the...
Was it Melbeck?
Pardon me?
Was it Deputy Melbeck?
No, it was Officer Gimby, Gimby. And he's a corporal with the Temecula Sheriff's Department. Anyway, he was out here on behalf of Lieutenant Smith.
Okay, that name doesn't sound familiar with
And
our...
I met him, and then we went out there to show him.
Okay, so with that information was probably sent back. So just because you're not seeing anything done, doesn't mean that they're not building a case on something like this, which means that it takes not just our services, but county code enforcement, and then any other agencies that we need to go in there, because we do have a task force that actually has, we call it the mixed task force. They have Marietta PD's involved in it, CHP's involved in it, Sheriff's Department's involved in it, well, we're one and the same, Temecula PD's involved in it, code enforcement's involved in it, so there's a lot of agencies involved in this task force. So once that information was gathered, then the corporal will usually go back and say, hey, this is what we have, you know, and then if they needed any aerial shots to see how large the area is, if there's any type of freestanding building on the property, then our airship will take those photos, and then that's when it starts the case. So a lot of you guys may say, hey, you know what, it's been out there for months and months, we haven't seen anything, but rest assured that if we've already been out there and they're looking at it, that we're building something. And sometimes, unfortunately, we'd like it to be shut down immediately, but that's not the case. We have to work to build the case, because, you know, someone might say, well, this is, you know, I got paperwork. Okay, now we get another hurdle. Paperwork for what? Oh, I'm a grower. Okay, now we gotta find out, is it legitimate? Where, you know, what do they have? And then we have to go through the process. So, we have a question back here?
A question back on the program itself.
Yes.
Does the program provide for any kind of identification, say for a golf cart or a vest or something, so people will be able to identify this person's out on, well, you know, on a neighborhood run or something like that? And then if they see them, they can stop and say, oh, you know, I saw somebody over there, whatever.
We don't provide any of that kind of, product or information, but when you do order the signs, a lot of times the signs, they'll have like, a magnet. And then they'll say like neighborhood watch, and if it's a magnet, then if the association's willing to, pay for it, then you can at least, put it on a golf cart or two, and then obviously take them off.
Can I?
Oh.
Also too, if you're not signing up with our times and you want to go out on your own, please let security know. I always let security know, and then they know, well, who you are, what lot number, and they know what time that you are patrolling. So you could do that too.
Is there any sort of CD or walkie-talkie communication that's being used? I mean, if you got one or two different units going out patrolling at night, how do they communicate?
Well, actually, when I was patrolling with Kevin Peters, he has walkie-talkies, so I would have one and he would have one. So, I mean, that's something if you want to get on your own, that's how we did it.
So basically, this is your program, so however you choose, deem necessary for your equipment, and that's a good one, because if you're out, you may not want to use a cell phone because maybe you don't get service, or by the time you dial that number, and then it gets to whoever, and maybe they don't have their phone on them, a walkie-talkie is easy, or the handy-talkies, it's quick and direct. So that's gonna be on you guys. For us, we come out, if there's a meeting or something occurs, or if you guys have a topic because something did occur and you want us to, discuss it in depth, that's when we come out. But like I said, if something does occur, please by all means don't think, oh, I'm not gonna call because, they're not gonna show up. We have to show up. Any call for service that is sent to our dispatch, we'll get people and they'll say you never showed up. Well, we know that's untrue, because we don't get to pick and choose our calls. So when my deputies get in that unit and on their computer, dispatch, will send the next call. If they're available, they just get the call, and they have to go call to call to call. Now, you are correct, there is a time, that it takes to get out here. So some people may say, hey, you know what, they didn't show up. Well, were you here the whole time? Well, no, I left. Okay, but they still have to show up. And if for some reason you need to cancel it, call dispatch back and say, hey, you know what, I don't want the deputy to come out. But he or she has to come out. It might be, 45 minutes, it might be 30 minutes. Who knows, because the deputy could be in the area. But like I said, call, don't be afraid to call. I get people sometimes that say, oh, it was nothing. You guys have better things to do. Well, this is our job, 24/7. So call us, don't feel that it was nothing, because let our deputies come out and make that determination, because it could have been something, or it could be something related to another incident. Because we look at different things when we come out here. Yes, you have a question back there?
What if these people are violent? Can you use pepper spray? Can you have a license to carry? Can you threaten them with a gun? Is there any way you can secure them for the police to come and arrest them if you're gonna do anything about the detaining them or putting them in jail? It seems like we're kind of at mercy for these bad people who do bad things. And there should be more than that, just to say, okay, here we are, go disappear.
Okay, well, first of all, if you're confronted, how you feel and how I feel is gonna be different. So if you feel threatened and in fear for your life, I may feel that way, you may not, and vice versa. So if you come in contact with them, because it just so happened you walked outside, and there they are. A lot of times, they're not gonna stay, they're gonna be gone. But if you come into that confrontation, are you gonna have that pepper spray with you?
Well, I'll tell you, when I walk my dogs at night, I'm going to take it with me.
There you go. So how, if you are in fear of your life, you have that pepper spray, then use it.
It's legal to do that. How about spray?
Wasp spray, same.
That's what I've heard. Somebody wanted to know, so that was okay.
And they're talking about wasp spray too,
Shoots out.
and it shoots out as
Yeah.
well. Do you have a question?
Yeah,
Okay.
on my department, we used to have a form in the radio car, field interrogation report, FIR cards. Would you guys roll a unit if we find somebody in the wash, I put them on the ground, and I hold them there? Will you guys roll a unit to come out and finish the FIR, so you have it in your records?
Yes, you can call, well, when you say FI cards, we have,
FIR, field interrogation report, is what we call it.
Okay.
You may call it something.
we just call them FI cards.
Okay.
So they're basically a card about this big, and it has on both sides all the information from, you know, their name, whether they give us the real name or not, or AKAs. We get to put on there the tattoos, the height, the weight, all their description. And then a lot of times what we end up doing is we run them, and then dispatch will give us more info. And then we take those FI cards, and we take them back to our station. We actually have a crime analyst named Mariana Kuhn, and she's great. We put them in her box, and she pulls all those FI cards, and she puts them in the system. Because sometimes as she's running them, she's like, oh, red flag, and then all of a sudden in our briefing room, we get wanted posters, or, you know, we need to, you know, find this individual. So that's a good thing. If you do have someone, maybe they're cooperative, maybe they're like, oh, you know, there's 4 of you and there's one of the individual, male or female, and they're like, you know what, we just gave up. We came and stole, this is what we wanted to take. But if they sit down and they're like, okay, and you say, hey, I'm calling the police, then you call us. And once we get here, you know, usually, if that's the case, they're gonna go to jail.
I'm not expecting
Oh.
cooperation. I'm just saying, will you roll a unit if I call and say that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'd just like to interrupt just for a moment and say that the group of people that we're hoping to volunteer to do the patrols we'd like to have done, that does not include patrolling the wash. Okay, we have teams of women going out. We don't need you out off the property in the wash, out in that area trying to see what's going on. We're talking about the interior of the park. We're talking about the roads that have been hit so far, those areas. That's what we're looking for, a presence there. No one needs to, in our group, as far as I'm concerned, no one needs to try and effect an arrest or to confront anyone. You see them, you make noise, and you leave. While one is driving away, the other one's on her phone to security or 911, whichever, but you do not face these people. Some are tweakers. Some are professional thieves. Some are just kids thinking they can get a couple extra bucks for somebody's golf club. Do not confront them. And we're not asking you to. We just need your help in giving us some coverage in a 5 or 6 hour period when this kind of stuff happens. And that's it.
Has there been any recent deaths on lots here recently?
Yes, I don't know if you had said it, but a couple of days ago, in the 400s, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I think an owner either scared them because they ran off,
Was
and
it
they,
500?
okay, and they ran out of the emergency exit. It's come to my attention that we are getting outsiders again coming into our laundry room and using the bathrooms.
And swimming pools.
And the what?
And the swimming pools.
So,
Well, what happened before, when I read that sign that's on the door, you know, it says, if you need access, call security. I get, well, what they gonna do? They gonna give you the code over the phone? They don't know who that is. Okay, so I talked to Mr. Simpson or something from the board,
yes.
and he said that he changed it, but I don't know, the signs are still there. He said that they physically have to come out, the security, you know, but still, you know, I don't think there should be anything on the gate. I mean, it's, if there is no sign and I need it, I call security, you know, but they might not have the number for security, but if I put the number on the stupid paper, I mean, that's giving them a
There-
tool
I
to
see what you're saying.
get
There
that.
are two things that people are saying. One has to do with an individual who lives on our property legally. They believe that that person is giving the code out to friends.
That too.
That's one thing. The other is, we've had a lot of instances where people who don't want to be bothered having to open the door again by entering the code, prop it open so they can, when they come back with their laundry basket, they can just go in and get their laundry. It doesn't help. And that's one of the things, one of the other things that lends to this kind of behavior, so.
Hilton?
Yeah.
In your neighborhood watch to date, inside, not out in the perimeter,
Yes.
have you had an occurrence where you've actually stopped somebody or had somebody there?
I have not. I've been out 10 or 11 nights.
Okay.
And I've not seen a single person except for one embarrassing moment when I captured John Schaefer, but other than that, no,
Okay.
I've not.
My husband absolutely says I am not to go out there.
Right, and I can
He's
understand that.
concerned that, you
Sure.
know, I don't run, I fight. And he's concerned I'm going to do something out of anger and, you know,
Right.
throttle somebody.
I think what we're trying to do is caution a little common sense. As I said earlier, I know there are some of you here who, well, let's confront the elephant in the room. You have handguns.
Yes.
And you're willing to use them. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as you understand that what you're going to confront out there more than likely, and this is strictly a guess on my part, is going to be, as I said, a young teenager looking to get a little bit of money, a tweaker who needs to get high, or a professional thief. Now, we've seen all three in our area in the last couple of months. The professional thieves, to me, seem to be the most dangerous, but on the other hand, they are the least dangerous. They don't want attention. They're not likely to confront you. The tweaker, on the other hand, if cornered, might do something stupid like what was mentioned earlier, pull out his dad's hatchet, you know, if he hasn't already sold it, and decide he wants to confront you with it. So for you who have guns, this officer is not going to tell you to use a gun
No.
under any circumstances whatsoever.
And
Your
I'm not
gun,
going to tell her I have one.
exactly. Your gun, your responsibility.
Yes, okay.
And that's the real bottom line here.
Hilton, there's a whole bunch of people that have probably never been to one of these before. And the gentleman or someone said about walkie-talkies, you know, because you have more than one patrol. Perhaps you could explain that we don't have enough people to have one patrol per hour, let alone two, so there is nobody to talk to.
Well-
Because there's not enough people to cover the time.
Certainly, the only solution we've been able to come up with, because as Bob has pointed out, we don't have enough people anyway. We have 2 people who will take a particular period of time. The way we've broken it down, we have 3 shifts that happen each evening with half-hour overlap on each side of those shifts. And that's it. Now, if we get more people, then that means the persons doing these patrols can do them fewer times during the week.
Exactly.
But we've got to cover our week. We cannot become complacent, and we can't hope somebody else will do it. We are the somebody else.
And I believe the hours are from 1 to 5.
Approximately, yes. We're saying, they said 1 to 5, we're saying between 12 and 5:30. Excuse me, 12:30 and 5:30. Those are the hours we think we can cover effectively if we get enough people. Okay.
Let me go with Rebecca. You had a question back there?
Yeah, I was thinking here, I'm looking around, we've got a group of really some tough guys. And what these people are thinking is, oh, this is a retirement community, these people are in wheelchairs. I think if we posted under our neighborhood watch sign, a group picture of some of these guys. It's like, this is our neighborhood. kinds of, situations.
Well, let me answer that question for you really quick. The moment, okay, because you remember the type of people that you're dealing with.
Right,
So you have homeowners that are not here, they're away.
right.
So if they're away, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind in these criminals' eyes. Now, those of you who are here, and maybe some of you are weekenders, but the ones who actually live here, and you're being vigilant and you're looking, those individuals are gonna start to see that.
Yeah.
And what's gonna take place is, they're gonna be like, okay, when it was easy to jump that fence and come in and nobody question us, now we're being questioned, people are and we're not saying to, I'm not saying to engage, you don't have to have conversation, but the majority of you guys kinda know, I mean, it is a large area, who's kinda here, or who, you can tell, some people try to fit in and you're like, they don't belong here. But you might just be walking by and say hi. If they're a criminal, they're not gonna wanna say hi to you. But if they start to see that, that the residents in here are being vigilant, they're talking, they're looking, they're not just, like I said earlier, you get in your car, your golf cart, and this is what you see, because I'm going straight to the pool, I'm going straight home, I'm going straight to wash. If they see that, then to them, this is the perfect target. Now that they don't see it, because now we're going this way, but then we're like, oh, wait a minute, hi, how are you? They're like, that's what you're gonna end up seeing. And that's why we're here today, because being more vigilant, and, taking care of, as you're walking, the lady in the back said, she walks her dog in the evening time. How many of you do walk your dog? Maybe now, if she walks her dog, she's not gonna walk her dog the same way every day. Maybe she can go around.
Just to take them out to go potty, that's all.
Okay. So for those of you who do have dogs and you want to walk them a little more, walk a different way. Just because it's your row, maybe you go to the next row. You guys have friends, go visit, but this way you're out there and they see this. Doing this, at night or in the daytime, and they know that, hey, you know what, they got golf carts, so it's not like they're running or walking. And even if you walk, that's totally fine. But at least, hey, I'm doing the perimeter. Now they're saying, hey, they're watching us. Now how is it, how easy is it now, I'm gonna go and I was eyeing a place, but now we see the golf cart, every half hour or every hour.
Also too, is what I've noticed, and I think Hilton can back me up on this, is when we're patrolling, there's a lot of lots with no lights whatsoever. Please, if you can, get motion light detectors, and because it's easy for us as we're looking and we can see through. It's so much easier than with the big old flashlight trying to find out if you got hit. I mean, I got motion detectors, I have a siren that goes off, I have cameras, I have a 130-pound dog. So no one's gonna, well, not that they wouldn't, but, and then there's me screaming out the door. So, but what I'm saying is when we're patrolling, we need lots of lights. It makes a big difference when you're going down a road and everybody's gone, and then you got one or two people that have lights on and everybody is dark. Think about your neighbors.
You had a question, Mike?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, well, since you're here, and I assume you're trained in the criminal line, can you give us, as individual owners, maybe the number 1 through the number 5 best things to do to our properties, to protect our properties from the criminals? I mean, is a dog, is that number 1? Is,
Lights. Lighting. Security, if you're able to put cameras up. And like I said, here is a little different, so you have to go with what you have here versus in a residential area, because you're not totally enclosed. So, and it's not saying that, because it's not enclosed, that they are welcome in there, they shouldn't be in there, but those are things that you have to think of. Anything that you do is a deterrent.
I mean, a camera, they put on a mask. I mean, so what really would stop them?
Nothing.
Well,
Me,
I'd like to say we're crime-free,
I mean,
but
a
that's,
picture of your Smith and Wesson, what?
no, because I've had people where they've done other things with, I taped a bullet to the window or whatever. If they want to get in, they're gonna get in. But like I said, things that you do to make it more difficult, and that's why we said lighting is first, because if it's dark, and I'm like, oh, I'm the criminal, and I think, oh, I saw these people come out, and I saw her with their diamond rings, and I'm like, oh, and then I step that foot into that property, and all of a sudden that motion sensor goes off, now I got lights everywhere. That's not a place I wanna be. Cameras, I know you said, a mask. Well, criminals are not always that intelligent. Sometimes they might put something, a hoodie, but then all of a sudden they see something, and the mind is telling them, things. I gotta steal. They sometimes forget about that camera, they turn around, and then lo and behold, we get that shot. Because it happens all the time. As a matter of fact, before I left the station today, we had a male and a female sitting down, and I walked in, and they looked at me, and my partner's like, I think you scared them. And I was like, I'm just walking to go get a unit. But that's what they did. And he was reviewing the camera, and she had the hoodie like squeezed up, and he told her to do something. You can't hear, there was no audio. And she turns around while that hoodie popped open, and there's her face as clear as day, and she's sitting on the bench, and now she's crying. But I did, before I got here, I watched that video. I go, play it one more time, let me see. And it was then, he's like, what do you, I'm like, it's her, because you can see her
I
face.
think the patrol and everything is good as a deterrent, but
Yes.
if all the individual owners know what to do to protect their property, they may not,
I
Well,
think,
Time ago, and
Exactly,
I
so-
may not know what's going on.
And so those of you who are not here full-time, you kind of are leaning on your good neighbors that are here full-time to kind of watch out for, hey, this is what I have, or whatever. I just can't stress enough, and we said it up here, we never want you to be in any confrontation with anybody. Call the police, call 911, because yes, they are your things, but it's not worth your life. They're valuables, they can be replaced.
Just to interrupt really quick, those motion detector lights are extremely bright. They are not expensive. You only need 2 or 3 of them on your lot. They don't burn all the time, and they're powered by solar. Best thing in the world. Your lot is dark, somebody walks within 20 feet, all of a sudden it lights up like Christmas.
You don't have to watch Power Phone.
Not at all. No. You just have to hang them someplace where they can see 1 or 2 hours of sunlight sometime during the day. That's it. They'll come on. If they see no movement, once the movement is there, they'll come on, they'll go for 30 seconds, they'll shut off. They're still on.
Maybe you have a pile of them sitting on your table there for sale.
That would be great. And don't think I haven't thought of it, but I would suggest that you get them yourself. Absolutely.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, you say what you can do. I went to Harbor Freight and I got these little things, they were on sale $14.95. Okay, I have this sitting on the counter, it just takes a 2 little batteries.
2 batteries.
I have that sitting on the counter outside, a build-out counter, and this is in my bedroom with the window open a little bit, with the alarm going that way, okay? Now, hold on. That has 2, so this wakes me up, okay? See?
They work with each other?
Huh? Yeah. This is outside, this is inside in the 5th wheel on my dresser, toward the window. So it gets it, okay, and it wakes me up. The only problem, shut up. The only problem I have with this, if a cat would run over the counter, or if a moth flies by. A moth? Exactly, a moth. And the other night, my neighbors, they have the same thing,
and we must be on the same frequency
Oh, yeah.
because they walked on their alarm, my alarm goes off. So, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I rather know it and it wakes me up and I jump out of bed and I look out the window right there or go outside. First I look and see what's there, but it will deter somebody there and say, oops, an alarm goes off and they don't know where this is. Okay, they hear that. But it's not expensive.
It does need to be said, however, that most, if not all of the places that have been hit have been dark places. Have been places where there is no car in front of the coach and all the lights are out. Places where there are lights haven't been hit. I know one, I think, was during the day. I think we were down by the lake, having concerts by the lake, and I think there was an attempted break-in. But beyond that, it's always been lots that are dark at night. And when we say dark, we mean absolutely dark. There's nothing, nothing.
Especially on the outer perimeter, if you take your golf cart and go on 14 and go all the way down, what is it, Bathhouse 5?
Yep.
And then follow that toward the, where the storage is. There are so many lots back there that it's pitch black. And we have a big spot, it's almost like a spotlight, trying to look in. And if anybody saw the headlights of the golf cart, they can dump.
They take off.
But I'll tell you, if you had those lights, that the motion detector, there's a lady across from us down by Annie Kay and Mike, the dog sitter. I was sitting out last night watching the sun go down. Something must have walked in front of it. I'll tell you what, that thing lit up and it was like a spotlight coming across the golf course on the 82 in the back.
I know some of these golf carts that are patrolling, also I've been out patrolling, they get some pretty bright headlights. It's like,
Well, I don't patrol with headlights. I don't have the headlights on at all.
some days.
Are you gonna make available signs that say this is a neighborhood watching area?
Yes, maybe you weren't here. We went ahead and the GM ordered 5 of the neighborhood watch signs. One will go on the security guard, and then one will go in the emergency exit, and then the one, another gate that opens up on the 500s, and then the storage, and then one by 224.
The top of the 200 row,
Yeah.
where they have access to the well.
There's not a gate on that.
No, there is not. Apparently there's going to be a chain or something put across there. It's the issue is that it has to be left open during the day, but it's supposed to get closed during the night.
The GM went ahead and got where the opening where the storage and the in the 500s, it's a chain that, and they actually have to cut with a saw, like a.
Yeah, they're double chain.
And they're double chain. I mean, they have to make a lot of noise in order to do that. Unfortunately, we can't put that chain over here in the emergency exit because that's a fire hazard.
When a quick call 911 from a cell phone, what kind of center is it going to? Is it equal for fire and SO?
Yes. When you call 911, if you're needing, when you call 911, you're gonna ask right away, or tell them what you're needing. So it's either gonna be fire or police. And usually if it's us, then we call fire as well to roll out with us.
Does the first person I talk to have to transfer me to SO?
No, because you're calling our dispatch.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, you're calling our dispatch. Now, it's different. Yes.
Okay.
Before, and you guys probably heard this, before when you would have your cell phone, you dial 911, it was going to Sacramento, and you were getting CHP. And then once you got CHP, then they'd have to reroute you to say, where are you at? And then, I'm in Temecula, I'm in Oahu, so they'd have to reroute you. Now it's changed, so when you call, and you're out here, then we know it's gonna be RSO. But if you're calling, fire directly, because that's who you need, they have a dispatch line. But if we come out, we usually will get on our air and say, hey, can you roll fire? Can you roll AMR? Can you, roll the world? Because this little thing this is my lifeline. So when I left today, before I came out here, everybody knows I'm here. But this is our little lifeline when we go out, we call everybody. So, I'm gonna take one more question. Go ahead.
This is just a recommendation. As far as communications and organization of the Neighborhood Watch, I'm not here to endorse any applications, but there's several applications. We're all carrying smartphones now. It's a lot quicker and responsive than a phone tree. You can have the app pulled up the whole time you're patrolling. The people that want to volunteer to help can actually be in the comfort and the safety of their RV that are there for people to respond to, and they can call 911. Because when you're out, you don't want to take your eyes off of the suspect to start calling numbers and fiddling around with your phone. But if you keep it open, you can actually voice text lot number 423. Other people that are out in patrol, they're in that group, it's automatically going to go to them. They know that that's where there's an issue. They can move to it. You can even get ones that are still free apps that your GPS will tell you your location. So if somebody's in an RV set up as a headquarter, if you will, you know, they're getting all clear every 30 minutes or whatever for people to let them know they're okay. They can see if everybody's on one side of the resort at all times. Reach out and say, hey guys, you guys are all in zone 1 at the same time. So zone 2, 3, 4, 5 are completely exposed right now. But it's something that people can volunteer to help do that aren't comfortable leaving the comfort of their home. And since you're already setting it up in shifts, you can have different people at different shifts. The other nice thing about it is you can check and see if people are using it right, and if you're going to go to bed, log out. But if you keep it up, you can actually see who's up and alert and willing to, you know, be of assistance because they got an icon next to their name or whatever. Then you keep it a closed group. You control who can come into it so the outsiders can't become part of it. And it just gives you a great organization tool to the whole process.
That's why these meetings are really important, because it's communication. So you have, like this individual, maybe at another meeting, he can say, hey, you know, I have my iPad, so I can show you in a larger span. This is what it looks like for those who maybe are not, you know, phone savvy, computer savvy. That's something that you guys can address, and then you have someone like that. You know, but communication, by all means, is key, no matter what. With neighbors that are here, not here, it's a must for Neighborhood Watch. So, do you guys have any other questions for me? No? Anything that you want me to touch on? No? We're all good?
I got one thing good. I suggest that when a shift goes off, that they brief the next one coming up.
That's what we're gonna talk about.
That's why, all we need is 2 minutes in a dark place, talk about what transpired.
When you see the shifts we've got laid out, there's a half-hour overlap for all the shifts. But I must say that the idea that Mike has come up with is a very, very good one. We should take advantage of that. Make sure that everybody who's going to do this, if we're all in the same system, then we'll be a lot stronger. So, Mike, we'll need that information from you, and then we'll get that to everybody else. And anybody who needs help with their phones getting it set up, we'll get them all set up.
We have one question in the back. I can't hear you.
Joe, we can't hear you.
Okay, so Joe's in the back, for those of you who didn't hear him, but he's saying that he can get direct contact with dispatch. So, because he knows that, you know, the time that it takes us to get out here is long. So he was just saying that if anything, to contact him, he'll contact dispatch to have them come out. Probably a little.
Probably our best bet is to call 911 because, you know, that's gonna be the closest, is to call 911 and then call security.
Yes. Okay, well, I thank you guys for having me out here, and good luck in the next one.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, not everybody get up, you guys are gonna decide.
Yeah. Well, we have 3 sign-up sheets. We have Monday through Sunday from 12:30 to 2:30, and then we have Monday through Sunday from 2 a.m. to 4, and then we have Monday through Sunday from 3:30 to 5:30. And in between those, for the first, like 12:30 to 2:30, and then the next shift starts at 2, if you guys want to meet at security, or at least tell security if there's any issue, and then the next people can go to security and say, hey, is there any problems? Do I need to know? And then what we're going to do, whoever signs up, what we're going to do is my husband went ahead and got this. It's a washboard. We're going to, all your names will be on here and the times that you're going to be patrolling, and this will be in the security guard. They'll have this. So they know what times you guys are patrolling and things.